right, I gotta admit, this is perhaps one of the coolest setups on the E3 show floor. I mean, I think I'd be vomiting within a few minutes of playing this. Did you guys request this specific setup for the crew?
Yeah, actually we requested 2 of those because we had one last year and it was amazing, and so we wanted to make sure, yeah, as many people would, not puke, but feel the sensation of instant driving.
I was going to say, just to talk, we'll talk about the crew in a moment, but I just want to touch upon, because it's so awesome. Are you guys working with like a third party to build this? I mean, how's this? How's it come together?
Well, actually, we're working with third-party partner working on simulation seats, and it's a great partnership because, well, at the heart of our game, we have a very realistic physics model, which we need to have in order to offer all the variety of all the cars, all the driving, all the terrains, all the tuning you can do into it, and it was key for us to have make sure whatever you do, whatever you choose, you feel the difference in sensation. And here, okay, it's cool sensation, but it's not just a toy, it's also a demonstration that whatever the car you choose, you will really experience all the work our teams and love they put into the game.
That's insane. I think this might be outside my price range to try it, but I might try it on later on. But obviously we're here to talk the crew. You guys have brought the game along. What are you showing on the show floor? What can people play?
Well, actually lots of things, because we had the chance to be invited by Sony and Microsoft to be on their booth as well. So we came actually with 4 different demos. And here on the Ubisoft booth, we focused on demonstrating the multiplayer aspect, competition aspect, where you can play crew versus crew battles. So basically, we have 2 teams, create 2 crews, and you engage into a third series of races, which we can demonstrate here. And it's a very good illustration of the depth we have into the game, because within a few minutes you can go in a full off-road race into the deserts and move on into the mountain off-road and going downtown with very different specs, different cars, and really experience the richness and the variety of the game. On Microsoft and Sony booths, we wanted to offer a complementary experience, which is the co-op aspect of the game. So it's pick up a few missions, whichever you want, and again with your crew, experience them co-op. It's really 2 very complementary facets for the game.
Now, with that awesome trailer we saw at the Ubisoft conference, with you guys just traveling from one side of America to the other, I mean, that's a lot of roads, and that must take a lot of time to sort of build. I mean, how are you guys grasping that concept of trying to cram all of America into one game?
Well, first it's lots of sweat and lots of time, of course, but well, the key is actually we started, the first 2-3 years of building the game. We spent them on tools and the engine, and making sure we would be able to, once we got the designers and the artists work into the world, make sure they would only work where it makes sense. Just one example, you want to build a part of a city, yeah, it's all very specific. You want to create downtown Manhattan? Yeah, you want the streets, you want the shops, you want the buildings, and so you need artists to go and work in detail. You want a forest? Well, actually, with the forest, you can get a programmer to help and actually create rules where the artist or the designer will define, I want this kind of tree, this kind of density, etc. And ask him to, well, ask the tool to do your first draft. And then he comes and makes the changes and adjust to the gameplay, adjust for the art. And this way, yeah, we had a huge art team, we had a huge level design team, but it stayed manageable thanks to the, it's a huge part of our proprietary technology that makes this game possible.
Now, we also announced, or you guys, should I say, announced at the conference that there will be a public beta out this summer. What can players expect to see with that? Can you talk a little bit about what's going to be the content for that?
We're still tweaking the content because we've been actually working for several months on our very secret beta, because we have to prepare. It has to work, and we want to make sure, not only on the technical side, but also on the content side, that what the player will experience will actually work, and it goes progressively. It's lots of polish, it's lots of tweaking, and lots of love to give to the game. And yeah, we'll be ready in July for players to finally experience. We're still tweaking and changing the plans. it will be a significant chunk of the game. And what's very important for us in the closed beta is that it's very important that player can experience the core of the experience. The core of the free roaming, of being online with your friends, and tasting at what makes the crew a great experience.
And with that, with the, obviously you guys have a roadmap, pardon the pun, between now and launch. You know what you need to do, etc. for the game. But obviously enough, public feedback from that beta, how are you going to absorb that? And again, have you set aside some time for when the public gets feedback to you guys of what they think, to sort of maybe incorporate that in? I mean, how are you playing with that?
Actually, it's a process into which we've been, we started doing, I would say almost a year ago. You know, we were, because basically we reached, we had our first huge alpha stage going through the whole game, yeah, about a year ago. And once we reached that stage, it was very important for us to get the game played again and again and again as much as possible. And this process of getting a few players into the game and seeing what works, doesn't adapt to it, it's just building up. And the closed beta is just another step into this process in which we need to set ourselves in a position to get the feedbacks, to prioritize, to see what's really important, what we can push into the game and when. And to be able to talk back to the players and say, yeah, this is cool, this we heard. And actually, but a few examples, you know, in the game, it was one example of Julian would talk about in the conference, but it's true that with this huge open world and all the cars and all the different behaviors, we've seen players, well, us as players, but also external players, come and try and see stuff. The hill climb skill, which is lots of small contests where you have to go as high as you can. Yeah. Actually, it wasn't a skill we had in the game until we saw that players would play again and again and again with that, and we said, yeah, come on, let's put it in. And same for other options. For example, one option which is to remove all front end so that you have a purely immersive experience and you're just driving and you don't have any messages, Meta or whatever. It's another stuff that the guys did ask again and again and say, yeah, okay, let's remove it. It would make your game easier, definitely, but yeah, it's a cool option, cool stuff. And yeah, with the closed beta, we're expecting to get lots of additional feedbacks. Too many feedbacks. But I would say what we can't bring for launch, we will bring a month later, 2 months later, 6 months later. It will come because the other aspect for us is that it's a massively online game. So the launch is not the end, it's just the beginning.
Yeah, you guys basically aren't getting vacation anytime soon. It's pretty much you're locked in for a long while. Yeah, how are you feeling about that?
It's going to, yeah, it's actually, you know, we're used to launching AAA games, and AAA game it's this huge intense crunch the last 6 months, and then you go on vacation. Yeah. For us, actually, the crunch starts when we launch the game. So it's a new way to work for us developers. And it's something we got to learn if we don't want to die too young.
Listen, I'm going to leave you to it. Thanks very much for talking to us. Have a great E3.
Thank you very much. And see you soon in the crew.